Well, good morning, guys. It's a beautiful day here in Melbourne, and I'm very excited because today we're going to go out and chase an early season snapper in Port Phillip Bay. And early season in Port Phillip Bay, I'm real selective of when I fish it, and there's a couple of reasons why I'm going to fish today. So I've woken up and the first thing I've seen is a Facebook memory of back in 2014 where I caught my bag on this exact day 10 years ago. And we're going to head out later on today and try and go back to that area and see if the snapper are in that area again. And so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I'm just getting bait ready, and I've got a box of 15 kilo box of pills, so we'll just let them thaw out a bit, some of them up, and we'll take them out. And also I've prepared earlier, I've got 150 kilos there of silver whiting and another box of pillies, and I've got some squid there. So we're gonna have a good crack at it. And the reason we're not out in the water yet is because the run-in tide doesn't start till 1:50 today, and in early season I don't feel like the fish will hold on structure. I feel like they're in migration mode, and they're just going to be coming in Port Phillip Bay school by school by school, and that will be scattered right throughout Port Phillip Bay. Like, there'll be fish coming out wide, there'll be fish coming in shallow, but I feel like the best way to get them today is to head out and just sit in the area where I got them 10 years ago, get a burley trail going, and we'll get out there and we'll have a chat. Hopefully the wind does what it's supposed to do. Righto guys, so we've just launched, and we've come out. It's I think it's about 3 hours before the low tide, and I don't really want to fish this part of the tide, but I've just come out here to film some stuff. I've run into my mate Terry, and he's having problems with his engine, so I'm going to pick him up later on today, and then we're going to go fishing. In the last 10 years, early season in October, I've spent a lot of Octobers out here targeting snapper, and when I go back and look at all the past stuff that I've caught in October, it would suggest to me never fish deep. Not that you can't. Last year was a bit of a curveball and we got them out wide, and the fish do come in wide, but getting them to bite and finding where they come in is very hard because it's such a vast area. So just knowing what the snapper are going to be doing is how we make our decisions moving forward. So later on today, I'm not interested in this run out tide now. I'm pretty confident I'm going to catch nothing, but so we've got a 1:51 low tide, and I'm going to go to a mark where I've caught them. Because it's the middle of the day, I'm not going to go out super wide. I'm just going to say like 14 meters, and I'm going to anchor on that spot and put a spreader rods out, put lots of burley in my burley pot, and we're going to try and burley them, and hopefully they're coming in through this line, and within that 3 hours we catch a fish. If we don't get one on that spot, I'll move into super shallow on a natural reef, and that's when I feel the best time to get a snapper will be. When we get towards that low tide, I'll pick him up, and then we'll head out for the proper fish. So if you look in the water, the tide's running out. See how the lines are going that way? So straight away, we want to move these rods over this side. Right, and we want, in Port Phillip Bay, we want slack lines in Port Phillip Bay to be slack. And then, so when the fish run with their bait, they swim off, and then this will engage and strike the fish by itself, and the rod will buckle over in the water. That's why I like a stiff rod tip, because when that fish takes off, you don't want a flexy rod tip, sort of like, it's like he'll feel the weight earlier than before the fish strikes. That's why I really rate the graphite rods. As like a rod like this where it's flexible, they'll feel that weight before it gets to its striking power, which would be somewhere here. that's when it would set the hooks. So it can make them drop the odd fish. Well, that's what I believe. And we've got a reef on the right side of me. We've got it's a public reef. The fisheries made it. Wrecks and things to fish during snapper season, get on the fisheries website. They publish artificial reefs, and they're a good starting point to locate snapper in November, but not this time of year. These silver whitings, Terry just give me these silver whitings here. These have never been frozen. They just come straight off the boat. They're fresh, and I'll just show you the beginners how to bait them. So most of the time, the snapper will, when they come along and grab their bait, they'll grab it by either the head or this region here. So all we want to do, this is our rig. We've got a twin snelled rig. I like to put them in the gill plate. So there's the first hook, that's the bottom hook, and then the other hook I just put halfway back, but I like it to come out sort of this region in case they grab it here, and I just inspect the hooks that there's nothing on the hook point and there's heaps of hook gape, and then I do a couple of do a loop, pull it tight, another one, pull it tight, and then we've got this little sinker. You don't really need a sinker in shallow, a little ball sinker, but out wide, and I tend to just run them in shallow because I'm too lazy to take them off. It gets too much, and you're moving in the shallows out wide all the time, so you just let it go. Light breeze has just blown us back around. As I said, I don't expect to get anything straight up. This is a paternoster rig. Now we've got to run out, all the lines are going that way, so I'm going to put the paternoster on this side and probably another one here if I was fishing 8 rods. We've just got a snag. So this is the type of ground we're fishing on. That's a scallop shell. The baits are gone, and that tells me there's a lot of small stuff down there because it is a wreck. So sometimes early season, to not have your head done in by little pinkies and small stuff, it can be wise to just get off the wreck. This one's been in 5 minutes. It's already got no bait. If you see a seal this time of year and it's moving, swimming, it's normally following a school of snapper, and they'll follow them and they'll lead you to the schools. So if you look in the water there, hopefully the camera picks it up, but you'll see how the paternoster rig with the scallop is moving up and down with the boat. That acts like a natural attractant and helps get the bite. So the way that the paternosters sit on the bottom is a lot different to snells, and you should always have one or two out. I'm only allowed to fish 4 rods, so I've got, out of the 3 rod spread, I've got 1 rig out. Right, so this is how you bait the paternoster rig. You put always use a silver whiting head on the bottom hook, and then I cut it in half, and then chop the tail off and have that little bit on the top hook. When they come out of the packet, there's a long bit of line. You tie a loop. And the reason there's a long bit of line and not a clip is because sometimes you want a longer dropper, sometimes you want a shorter dropper. So that's why it comes out of the packet like that. And all you do with these is just drop it straight down. About a 6 ounce or a 4 ounce, whatever you need. And the sinker will help you get the hook up, because when the fish hits it, the weight of the sinker pulls down on it and it helps strike the fish. So between a 4 and a 6 ounce, depending on the tide. In these shallows off Seaford there's terrific scallop beds and cungy and all sorts of things to anchor on. In the middle of the day, which it is now, I probably would fish that 14 to 16 to sort of 9 meters. We're in 9 meters now. So this is the burley pot attached to a rope, and this time of year we do not want to burley them. We want to lure them in with some scent and that's it. We don't want anything else. We just want to give them a bit of a scent, get them to come over and go, that smells good, and then find one of our baits, buckle. That's what we want. So we're going to get some pilchards. That's all I use for burley. Best burley going around. And we're going to chop them up, put them in the burley pot. And I've got this little mashing device. Where is it? Ocean Accessories. Sort of break the pilchards up, put them in the burley pot, and then just mash it, put it down near the bottom. You have to be near the bottom, and that will just bring any fish in the area in close without feeding them, because this time of year they may only feed once a day, and we don't want it to be on some pilchard we've thrown over. Give it a mash. We'll just mash it up. Give it a bit of a mash, so I don't have to get my fingers dirty. It's made of stainless steel, so I'll have this for life. That's what I really like about it. And then we'll just lower that down to the bottom, just like that. I've sounded all around this area, and the reef ends about here, the edge. Now I don't want to get snagged every 5 minutes, so I've got my rods out. And I've got the burley pot on this side because the tide's running out. It's wind against tide, but all the lines are going back up that way. And I've got paternoster here, so nothing will tangle, and they're all sitting fine. The burley will go up current that way, and any fish in this whole area will come and buckle one of these rods over. Now I don't really fish this area very much at all, but I'm waiting for someone to come to the ramp, so I thought I'd use it as an example of what to do. There's the result. There's the result, guys. Unfortunately, I can't show you the background because everyone comes to where we fish.
I'm expecting maybe to get one. That's a bonus, mate. It's about lucky.
Yeah.
And the size of them, mate. Jesus, mate. That's it, mate.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
it.
Yeah.
You reckon that's 8 kilos?
I reckon,
8 to
mate.
7?
Look, I was hoping you've got to go close. 7 to 8, easy, mate.
Easy.
Easy, but you got close to 8. But that's, easy.
Yeah.